I never imagined that one awkward moment in a quiet coffee shop would change the direction of my life. My heart nearly stopped when I looked up from my cup and saw my boss standing right there staring at me like she'd just uncovered my biggest secret. What she said next didn't just surprise me. It shook me in a way I still feel today. Because sometimes, kindness doesn't come as sympathy or advice. Sometimes, it comes as honesty you didn't know you needed. Before we dive into this story, take a quick moment to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stories like this live and grow because of you. This is your channel name, where real moments remind us how powerful kindness can be. I'm not the kind of person who enjoys blind dates. I agreed to this one mostly because my best friend wouldn't stop insisting that I needed to get back out there. I was 32, single, and working long hours at a marketing firm in Chicago. My life had become a routine of deadlines, takeout dinners, and quiet weekends. My boss, Rachel, was the last person I expected to see outside the office. She was sharp, confident, and widely respected. The kind of leader who remembered your name, asked about your family, and still expected excellence. To me, she was intimidating in the way someone admirable often is. That Saturday afternoon, I sat across from a woman named Claire, who seemed nice enough. We were making polite conversation when I felt a shadow fall across the table. I looked up, and there she was, Rachel. She smiled, but I could tell she was surprised too. "Well, this is unexpected," she said gently. My face burned. I stood up too fast, knocking my knee into the table. "Hi, Rachel. This is Claire." Claire smiled awkwardly. Rachel nodded politely, exchanged a few pleasantries, and said she didn't want to interrupt. But before she left, she looked at me and said, "I'll see you Monday." The rest of the date was a blur. Claire and I finished our coffee, agreed there was no spark, and parted kindly. But my mind stayed stuck on Rachel, on Monday, on what she must be thinking. I spent the whole weekend replaying the moment, worried she'd see me differently at work. Maybe less focused, maybe less professional. I had worked so hard to earn her respect. Monday morning came, and as soon as I sat down, I saw an email from Rachel asking me to stop by her office. My stomach dropped. Her office was warm and filled with sunlight. She gestured for me to sit and asked how my weekend was. I answered cautiously. Then she smiled. "I saw you on Saturday," she said. "Yes," I replied. "I hope that wasn't inappropriate." She shook her head. "Not at all. You're allowed to have a life. That should have been the end of it." But then she paused, her expression thoughtful. "Can I ask you something personal?" I nodded, unsure. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "Why didn't you ever try asking me out on a date?" I honestly thought I'd misheard her. "I'm sorry," I said. She laughed softly. "I don't mean right now. I just mean ever. Over the past few years." My heart pounded. "Because you're my boss," I said quickly, "and because you're you. Confident, successful, out of my league." She leaned back in her chair, surprised. "Out of your league?" I nodded. "You intimidate me." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something I didn't expect. "I used to think you didn't like me." That stunned me. She explained that she'd always admired my work ethic, my kindness toward coworkers, the way I stayed late to help others without being asked. But she thought my distance meant disinterest. "I didn't want to cross a line," she said. "So I stayed professional." I realized then how many assumptions we both carried, how fear had kept us silent. She smiled again warmly. "I'm not asking you out," she added gently. "I just wanted you to know that you're not invisible, and you're not beneath anyone." That conversation changed something in me. Not because it turned into romance. It didn't. We agreed to keep things professional, and we did. But Rachel's kindness, her honesty, cracked open something I had shut down. For years I'd been shrinking myself, assuming I wasn't enough, assuming people saw me as small. A few weeks later, the company went through a rough patch. Layoffs were looming, morale was low. Rachel called a team meeting and spoke openly about the challenges ahead. She didn't sugarcoat anything, but she didn't spread fear either. After the meeting, I noticed one of our interns, a young guy named Marcus, sitting alone, staring at his desk. He looked terrified. I remembered how Rachel had made me feel seen, and I decided to pass it on. I sat with him and listened. I reassured him that his work mattered, that even if things changed, his effort wasn't wasted. It wasn't a big speech, just kindness. Weeks later, Marcus got a full-time offer. He thanked me and said, "You were the only one who took time to talk to me when I was scared." That's when it hit me. Kindness moves. It doesn't stop with one person. Months passed. Work stabilized. Life felt lighter. One evening, Rachel stopped by my desk as she was leaving. "I just wanted to say," she said, "you've grown a lot this year. You carry yourself differently." I smiled. I had a good example. She nodded, touched. "That means more than you know. We never dated, but we became something else. Mutual respect turned into genuine friendship, and that was enough. That blind date I dreaded, it gave me clarity. It showed me how kindness, even in an awkward moment, can reshape how we see ourselves and others. Sometimes kindness isn't about grand gestures. It's about saying what's honest, seeing someone fully, giving them courage without even realizing it. If you're watching this and feeling invisible, I hope this story reminds you that you matter more than you think. And if you're in a position to lift someone else, do it. A few kind words can change a life. In a world where it's easy to stay silent, choose kindness, choose honesty. You never know who's waiting to feel seen.